Hi there retro gamers, welcome to the old school pixel party where we talk about everything to do with retro gaming. Now the more astute amongst you might have noticed that I'm not actually Scot. Maybe it's the fact I don't have a chin wig, or the fact that I can do more than 2 hand gestures. I in fact am Gordon, and I am the younger but taller brother who bought him all those terrible games he's talked about. Well, if you think that's bad, you should see some of the shite he's bought for me. Now the reason I'm here instead of Scott is because he's away to the Gathering, a massive LAN party taking place in Norway. Either that or he's lied to me and I'm going to hear on the news that he's gone around New York beheading people and singing Queen songs. Blatant Highlander references aside, I'm here to talk about a wee problem that comes up when it comes to retro games. The older a game is, the harder it's going to be to get running again. And the sheer effort involved in that is probably going to put a lot of people off. Thankfully, there are lots of ways to make your retro gaming life far easier. So what are these problems you'll come across? Well, they divide quite neatly into console and PC. On the console side, you've got the manufacturers not making the hardware anymore, and the newer consoles not supporting the older games. On the PC side, it's usually that Windows has evolved past the need to play your favourite titles from yesteryear. Brief note, some of the things I'll talk about in the PC section do have Mac versions too, but that's not my area of expertise at all, so bad luck there. Consoles! Virtual Console, Xbox Live Arcade and PlayStation Network all have some kind of retro titles available. If you have any of the last gen consoles, that is the easiest place to go. Main difference between them is Virtual Console has a larger retro library and the games tend to be very bare bones, similar to how you'd find them on the actual cartridge. XBLA and PSN tend to have fancier things like graphics filters, but they also sometimes change the gameplay, like adding difficulty levels. Those seeking a more authentic experience, or any 8-bit titles whatsoever, may want to lean towards Virtual Console. Speaking of authentic experiences, what could be more authentic than playing on the original hardware? Well, sadly that brings up the problem of finding the damn things. Retro consoles get more and more rare every passing year, and with increased rarity comes higher prices. eBay, Craigslist, Gumtree if you're in the UK, local listings, second-hand stores, these are all great places to look. Unless you want to play a light gun game and you've only got an LCD TV, because you are completely boned. Sorry, I got nothing for you. There is, however, another option when it comes to original hardware. Now that the patents on many old consoles have run out, we can actually have clone consoles like the Retro Duo come along. Okay, clone consoles were happening for like decades before that, but it's remotely legal now. And I mean, if Nintendo goes after the guys making GBA backup carts and not the clone console guys, I think that's saying something. Word of warning, compatibility for all games is not guaranteed. If you have a particular game in mind, do your research. Google is your friend. Also, buy a console that's got controller ports. That way, you can use the real things rather than some cheap knockoff that came with the console. Just before I segue into talking about PCs, I must point out that legally I can't talk about emulators. No, seriously, I can't. Okay, console's done with. Now on to the glorious PC gaming master race. Your main problem on the PC front is one little change to Windows or one little advancement in hardware. Your favourite title could be completely unrunnable. It's a science. A very, very pernickety science. But that's where one of the best things about PC gaming comes in. The ability to mod, code, crack and reverse engineer our way out of this kind of situation. Or to write our own patch for a console port because the publishers turned out to be a lazy bunch of... The fastest and easiest step would be to look on sites like Steam or Good Old Games to see if they carry the oldie you're looking for. Incidentally, I much prefer getting my games from GOG because they don't have copy protection and they actually put a lot of effort into making sure the damn things run on modern Windows. What if you already have the original game discs? And if you don't, eBay, Gumtree, etc. Your next choice is to just Google it. Chances are there are hundreds of people who have tried to do the same thing that you have, and one of them might have been successful. It can be hit or miss, but it is absolutely worth a try. You could also set up a dedicated retro gaming PC as well, but that's a lot of hassle, even if you know what you're doing. I mean, far more so than with consoles. And at least with consoles you won't have to install a driver just to use your USB ports. I'll finish this off with 2 fabulous free programs that I use all the time. First up is DOSBox, which is used for running games in an MS-DOS-like environment. Now this takes a little bit of setting up, plus you need to actually know how to move around in DOS in the first place. But if that's not going to hold you back, then you will find this program incredibly useful. or you can use one of 100 front ends people have made for it. The other lovely, free, incredibly useful, delicious program is ScumBM, which is used for playing your favourite point-and-click adventures. Your Monkey Islands, your Day of the Tentacles, your Toonstrucks, that kind of thing. This one's a lot more user-friendly. Just take your game disc, point ScumBM towards the game files, and boom! Your work's done for you. Now, unlike DOSBox, ScumBM has a limited amount of games it supports. And not only is that list pretty big in the first place, it is growing with each new release. And the best part is it's open source, which means it's not only free, but it's been ported to damn near everything that's got a processor. You can run this on your phone if you want to, if you have a phone that will let you copy files freely back and forth. If not, then that's luck there. But I hope that helps you revisit a childhood favourite, or just come and see what all the fuss about this retro games thing is about in the first place. We'd love to have you. It's traditional to leave these with a question, apparently, so here's one for you. What is the hardest you've ever had to work to get a game running? Did you have to set up a virtual machine? Did you have to take a vacuum cleaner to one of your cartridges? Did you have to go over to your brother's place and nick all of his games? Because that's a thing now, apparently. Scott. And while I'm here, hell yes, I'm going to plug my own channel. I go by the name Ikifoo and I review DOS games, point-and-click titles, and pretty much anything else that takes my fancy. There we go, all done. Scott will be back next week, and as always, good work, retro gamers! Scott will most likely kill you in the morning. But you know, next week.